Hey. Okay. We're going to talk today about how the media creates victims. Now, it's something that's pretty subtle. We don't really notice it. It's just usually it flies under the radar. But I found a couple articles that I think really highlight and really exemplify what it means to build a victim narrative, paint something as the victim. Because obviously, this is really important. We can't have social justice warriors without sufficient supply of victim narratives. We can't do that. We have to have people who feel that they're being victimized. So even if it's just the most random storyline, whatever, I don't know. Okay, let me just get on Instagram, just let everybody know on Instagram, and then we'll get into the articles. Thank you guys for the likes. Hello, everybody. Hello. But yeah, I think these articles are I think they're really funny. I just, I don't know how they came up with this being it, but okay. Um, anyway, also, it's just part of, like, I don't know, observing things and observing the media. You just have to look out. Okay. You just have to look out for how they're actually constructing these things. So, building the victim narrative is not really easy. But the mainstream media fake news, they can definitely do it, can't they? They can do anything. They can build the victim narrative out of, I don't know, thin air, the most ridiculousness. So, okay. All right, let's get into what is this article? Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple articles, just like 3 articles, not too many articles, but they're good. They're good ones. Such hot topics, including AI these days. Yeah. Okay, everybody's coming in. Let me get in here. Where's those articles? Because, okay, so I was researching for a live that I'm about to do on my locals. That's going to be covering why everything is now white supremacy. And I just came across these articles and I was like, I have to at least go over these. Like, come on. We can't even play these games. This is just too much. But it's all about building a victim narrative is all about constructing a narrative, using the right language, justifying past premises that they present, because it's all a continuation. It's all like one long storyline. We always like look at a single article and think, oh, okay, that's a single story. That's a single story. We look at it in isolation, but propagandists, they don't just put one thing out and just randomly, okay, that's the story. It's all one long continuous storyline to justify, the ultimate agenda that's all the way up there. So here's the first one. Let's see. Where did it go? Let me just share my screen. That's what I need to do. I need to just share my screen. Not that screen. My screen is so bad. Where's the browser? Okay. This is so, I'm still getting used to like all of the. On the BBC Today, journalist feminist said smoking cigars and driving expensive cars is misogyny. Not kidding. Oh wow. Oh my god. Yeah, some books talking trash about white people. That's definitely white supremacy. I wish you guys would stop being such white supremacists. Like, for real. Like, you need to stop. You need to stop. Okay, how do I share just the window? Let me see. Okay, there we go. Just like so annoying. 1 second. I did this like one time and now I can't even remember how to do it. Okay, no. That's not it. Oh my god. Entire screen. 1 second. Okay. That's what I wanted to do. What is this? How do I get it to come on? Oh my god. Did you guys see how... Ugh. Did you guys see how Twitter is censoring what is a woman? Oh, I know. I know. That's like so disturbing. That's like so disturbing. I can't say that I'm shocked because I mean, come on. Like, let's be real. Elon is not, he's not for the cause. He's not down for the cause. I need to just bump that. Let me just do this. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I need to know how to, there we go. To just do all the screen sharing, all this stuff. This program is like so annoying. But yeah, okay, let's get into this article. I'm going to put it up here and then we can look at it. Okay. Why is it so annoying? Why is it doing this to me? Now it's not even, oh my god, I would have to edit the hell out of this live. Okay, here's just a single image and then I'll just read the article because it's not doing it. This is why you have to learn all of your software beforehand. And I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Okay. Where'd it go? But no, the whole Twitter Elon thing is like so annoying. And can you imagine what's gonna happen when the new CEO starts? And she's like such a like WWWW fan. Like she's gonna be such a globalist. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be really bad. But it is what it is. This is what they want to do. This is how people want to live. They just want to be globalist psychopaths, I guess. It's so annoying though. Okay, so here it is. Okay. So, the first article that I saw was documenting this is like an actual article that is actually being put out on like Microsoft's start page, like the MSN browser for people. And I was just like, what the heck? Yeah, Maria, both sides weren't going to like his choice. I know. It's like, how can he censor that? It's just ridiculous. Like, Matt Walsh isn't even doing anything. I hope they show it on Twitter and hope Elon Musk keeps his word how he said Twitter should be a free speech. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, he's definitely worried about people being misgendered. It's like, come on. He's just making movies. No, it's not okay. No, free speech. And that's the thing is like, okay. Let me get into that. Okay, that's the thing. It's like, it's so sad because they're setting it up that society has to accept this method of this like perception of reality, when it's like, why is this valid? Like, why is this at all valid? Like, it's not valid at all. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, no, the whole concept is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's not, it's someone's, it's someone's abstract theory of how reality works. And so, because it's someone's abstract theory of how reality works, now we have to believe that it's real. Like, they literally want to force us to believe that it's real. And it's disgusting. It's like, how this is not, no. Like, we went through all this time and now we have to believe in someone's like theory that they wrote. It's like not based in anything other than someone's just like perception. And it reminds me of this article actually that I saw that I had that I was going to feature as well. It reminds me of this one. I could start with this one. Where did it go? Here we go. This one. Ivy League professor says it's bad science to believe in biological sex is binary. False picture of biology. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Like, we literally live in an insane clown world that we have to do this. And that's how they do it. They started in the ideological realm. They started in ideology, and then it pushes its way up into like think tanks and college professors and blah, 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 whoever, like articles and subgroups and all this stuff. And then it pushes it all the way up into mainstream reality. Now Twitter has to do, now we have to acknowledge, now there's laws being passed, and it's so disturbing. Like, it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing. I just don't understand how we let things get like this, let things get this far. How they're able to do things like this. Oh, it's just, oh my God. It's just like, why do we have to do this? Like, why do we have to put up with it, Like, why do we have to deal with it? They're conditioning us to get used to newspeak, basic language replacement. Like with the jab, they redefine the word. I know. Exactly. If words considered hate speech, then society and humanity is sadly doomed and heading to a dark place. I know. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Like, stating biological reality as hate speech. Like, that's something we have to do. We have to, oh my God, did it hurt your feelings? Really? It's just like, whatever. Who cares? You have your fantasy and you live in your fantasy world, but it's like you have to literally sit, like, we have to follow the newspeak. We have to follow along. It's so bad. It's so bad. It actually, here, let me see if I can download this. It's actually like pretty disturbing that we wait until so long, because I feel like we're way behind the curve in terms of shaping society and culture. We just sort of react to everything instead of directing it, like actually saying, okay, this is how we're going to view reality. This is how we're going to look at things. And the biology professor who's saying that biological reality is like, false, and it's about discrimination and all these things. This guy is at Princeton. Yeah. He's at Princeton. Austin Fuentes has specialized knowledge in racism, sex, gender, and chasing monkeys, according to his biography page. He argued in Scientific America magazine Scientific American magazine on Monday that biological reproductive cells, such as sperm and egg cells, do not delineate between someone being male or female. How fun. How fun. How fun. Jeez. Hey, evening. It's like frog in boiling water. They do nothing boil, they just jump. I grew up in a third world country and came to the US, thankfully, over 10 years ago. And sadly, we don't realize how privileged and fortunate we are. I know. We're super privileged. They act binary while claiming non binary. Look, there's no justification for it. There's no justification for it. It does not make any sense. It's not, but the thing is with leftism, it's not about making sense. It's just about breaking things down. That's what it is. Because we're always trying to like make sense of the world and find some balance, but it's not about that for them. It is about creating chaos. The human sex rests on biological binary of making either sperm or ova underlies all these claims. Prentice wrote, "This is bad science." The professor explained that the production of sex cells in animals does not sufficiently describe sex biology in animals, nor is it the definition of a woman or man. They're just not that important. They're just not. Sex is cultural and not only biological and enmeshed in social processes. No. Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is bad. Princeton. This person is from Princeton. To believe, he literally says to believe in the binary nature of sex is to promote discrimination. Literally. So you guys, pretty soon, we're going to be suffering under the social credit score of, discrimination because we believe in biological sex. So get ready for that. That should be fun. Yeah, that should be really fun. Ask them about their male father and their female mother. Yeah, they cry non-binary. It's all about feelings validation. That sounds like a 4-year-old. I think that these people are just creating problems that doesn't exist. Oh, wait, why am I not doing this? Oh, yeah, I figured out how to do that. Yeah, it's literally just to create problems. It's literally just to create confusion. That's all it's there for. There's no other purpose for it. There's no other purpose. You know it. It's just to create the confusion. And when they entrain people to just react and follow, no matter how ridiculous, no matter how illogical, no matter how bad it is, that means they control you, and that means they can make you do whatever they want. That's the goal. That's the goal, people. That's the goal. That's the goal. Sex and gender. Okay, so sex and gender are not the same thing. We are born with a sex but acquire gender, he said. There is an extensive body of literature demonstrating this, but many researchers interested only in definitive distinctions between men and women choose to disregard it. Okay, so again, someone wrote a story, someone has an ideology, they wrote something down, they wrote it down, they spread it around, they published it, whatever. Someone else wrote something also, published it, and so because someone wrote something down, now reality has changed. Now perception of reality has changed. It's just they can create these things out of thin air. Literally thin air. It's not real. It's like, what are you doing? This is not real. But because they wrote it down and they go to Princeton, oh my God, they go to Princeton. They got their Ivy League. They do it. Oh, they're just so amazing. They're just so amazing. How could we not believe them? It's sort of like this. Here, I'm going to share this. I was just working on these today. So it's like this. Bop, 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 bop. Okay. So we've got the ideology down here, the bottom of the pyramid, like a person coming up with something, writing it down. It just popped out of their head, wrote it down. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be based in anything. No scientific research necessary. It's just an ideology. They write it down. They get it published. They move up theory, writing, and think tanks. They do the think tanks. I mean, they have the theory. They actually take the ideology and make it into a theory. And then they publish and share that theory and evolve the theory through writings, through publishing. And then they use think tanks to refine the theory. How do we make this digestible? How do we take this ideology, this theory, and how are we going to inseminate it into reality and into the thought realm? They're not going to do it without any data, without collecting data around how people perceive things, what's the right wording, what's the best issue to use. They collect data. They want to find the most appropriate measure. None of this is about being genuine. Oh, Maria says, oh, here we go. They use surveys too. Yeah, the surveys are a big thing. I think, yeah, I should put surveys there as well. I was using think tanks to sort of like encompass it, but yeah, the surveys are really, really big because that's how they do a lot of the data collection. And Maria talks about that too on her channel, and she talks about that a lot also. How they actually go about the Marxists, how they go about collecting the data and doing all of that. So it's insane. It's insane. So, and then finally, they move up into the realm of real world action, like tangible laws, media, all of these things to just like actually make it reality, make this the standard, the norm. And that's where conservatives usually fight their battle. They fight it once it's already manifested all the way into like the mainstream. Once it's like there and people are noticing and they see it everywhere and it's being published and just it's already in the school for the last like 5 years, like that's when conservatives pick up on things because they're not leading the culture. They're just reacting to culture. Shane says inverted pyramid, they don't stand, do they? No. Inverted pyramid. Yeah, it's inverted because everything in leftism is inverted also. So, and ideology is a small thing and it then moves up to be bigger thing. But it's not really stable either. I think that is a good representation because it's not really stable, and none of their faulty logic is completely unstable. Like nothing about what they say or do is stable. It's faulty. What does this logic define as says? When they say there are women, ask them how often do they see a gynecologist? Can a trans man see a urologist? I will never bend the knee to the woke mob. I know. But, they're forcing them to be able to accept them in the gynecological office. You know that, right? I know that's happening in Canada. So, yeah, it's great. It's great. Someone asked, am I on Twitter? Would you like to follow? You're an amazing human. Oh, great. Yes, I'm on Twitter. You can find me at Propaganda Layla. Here, I'll put it here. I need to put all these things. I'm so bad. I need to put all the like names and all the stuff up there because like I don't know. It's so much stuff. But anyway, so I thought this was good. I'm actually going to make a whole video just with this is part of a video I'm making on association, like building associations. And I'm going to use this and talk about this and just move through because it's just disturbing how conservatives don't ever lead the culture. They always wait until the final form. They wait until things have manifested. And once it's manifested, just like with the disease, once you see the disease, once you're like really seeing the disease, that's when you're already infected. That's when it's already taken hold. Just like with the flu, you get infected, it takes a couple hours for it to actually manifest. So you get the symptoms or get sick. So it's unfortunate. Oh, thanks so much. It's really unfortunate. Okay. So that will come later. So make sure you subscribe to see that video when it comes up, because I think it's going to be interesting. I've been working on trying to just explain some of these concepts of how they maneuver through psychology, maneuver through utilizing people's biases and all this stuff. Okay. So we got through the whole non-binary article. I wanted to go. Yeah, the woke mind virus. That is so true. I wanted to go on. There's just like so much garbage out here, so much propaganda, so much just nonstop. Like, oh, we're victims. We can't do this. We can't. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I'm such a victim. Such a victim. Okay. So this one, okay. So this one I thought was really hilarious because obviously we already know that like BLM, ultimate, everything, slavery, Jim Crow, all of it, forever and ever. But if we have like a real systems of oppression, like actual oppression in this society, you would think that they would be writing about that. Or maybe the like shootings in Chicago. I don't know, something about that. But instead they want to publish an article about Black woman recalls time she was the only darker skinned bridesmaid and the bride forgot all about lipstick color theory. Like, how ridiculous. How ridiculous. Like, you need to center an entire story about how someone had to choose a different color shade of lipstick. And that's somehow, oh my God. Oh no, I'm a victim. Oh no. It's like, I just was screaming. I saw this. I was like, this is so embarrassing. So embarrassing. Okay, so you had to choose a different color. Talk about selfish. It wasn't her wedding. Yeah, she had to choose a different color. It's literally an article drumming up all of this. Oh, this pain, this anguish. Oh. She made a TikTok video at first and it got 300,000 likes showing her picking out a different color. This is oppression? Really? This is the oppression they speak of. This is the oppression they speak of. Okay. Wow. Yeah. It sounds just like slavery. Oh my God. And almost learned the hard way about color theory. Oh my God. You know, it's just because she did it on purpose. The bride, she wanted her to be embarrassed. Like, why is something so like irrelevant and stupid as this? Like, why is this something people are discussing? This is what humanity wants to dwell on. Last time I checked, we were having like 87,000 new IRS agents, potentially armed, going to be ready to check how much red meat we eat on a daily basis. But we need to be talking about this. This is ridiculous. It's so sad. Oh, yes. Links said it's a microaggression. That's the point. Oh my God. If this is oppression to them, I wonder what real oppression would look like. I know. It's disturbing. So yeah, it's just 300,000 likes because you had to pick a new lipstick color. Because you got to state the obvious. Okay, so the lipstick color doesn't look good on you. All right, move on. Like, who cares? Nobody cares. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But I mean, I guess this is real oppression. I guess we just don't understand because this is real oppression. Like actual oppression. Like I would think real oppression would be not being able to feed yourself, house yourself, protect yourself. I would think that would be real oppression, but apparently it's, you know, uh, having to pick different shades of lipstick color. That's real oppression. Okay, but whatever. I mean, we just don't understand, I guess. I guess we don't understand. I guess we don't understand. I guess we don't understand. Okay, so the last article I wanted to go through. It's so true. Don't more people die of fentanyl overdoses on a normal year than an entire 14 year? No more. I know, it's so sad. Perception. Ooh. I know. It's too much. The fentanyl crisis is abhorrent. Okay. Vince McCone has a famous line: perception is reality. The more they repeat things as oppression, the more people will believe it, and it will become true reality to them. That's so true. Thank you for sharing that quote. That's so true. Perception is reality for them because they're not going off of actual fact or data or anything real. They're going off of their emotions. They're going off of whatever biases they have. And most importantly, they're going off of what the media told them. So, they're not going to be analyzing and saying, oh, what about this or what about that? And the thing that's the most strange to me, just the strangest thing to me, is how there's never like a solution to being a victim. There's never like a plan to not be a victim, other than, I'm assuming, reading the planet of a certain demographic. And we all know who that demographic is. So I guess that's their plan. But they're always perpetually going to be this victim of something. And also, what are they going to do when they're not a victim? How is that going to look? Are they going to really enjoy that? Because I feel like if your whole reality is based off of your being a victim, you're not going to really like it so much. I don't know. That's just my thought. What's the end game? That's the thing I want to ask on leftists all the time. It's like, what's the end game? When are you actually not a victim? Like, what are you going to do then? Like, what's the plan? Okay. Like, what's the plan? I just feel like they wouldn't have any answer to that. I just feel like they wouldn't have much to say. They would just say that it's always going to be like this or something. It's so disturbing. Okay. Whatever. They're just always like this. Okay, let me share the last article that I think is pretty interesting. And this one's a little bit more depth. It has a little bit more depth in terms of, it's a little bit more subtle in terms of how they're implementing the whole victim narrative and how they're trying to give the story and paint the storyline and make it seem believable. Because, again, a lot of it has to be very, very subtle. It can't be too explicit. It can't be too outright. Like, oh my God, this is clearly very direct sort of story. This is just to paint a narrative. No, they have to usually be very subtle about it. So here it is. And thank you guys for all the likes. Okay. Oops. I don't want to just share it like that. It's so big. Okay. So this one is interesting. Oh, thank you for following. Yeah, check me out on Twitter. And also join the locals if you use locals. Locals is really fun. And you can also be uncensored there. Don't have to worry about that. Okay. So this article, I'm an undocumented college student. No matter how hard I work, there's one reality I can't escape. So, yeah. Undocumented. So the first thing we have to notice is the word undocumented. This is the person who entered the country. I guess they're not asylum seekers, not so much. They entered the country. They didn't go through the process of entering the country. One would call them potentially illegal immigrants, but we don't use that word anymore. Okay, we don't use that word. They're just undocumented. They're just like traveler migrants. They're just traveling. They're just here. No big deal. It's just a way that you get here. What's the problem? Um it's so sad. So in the article, basically so this is how I analyze articles and propaganda and things like that. This is how I go about doing it. And you guys let me know what you think about it, how you actually do it as well. Because it's a process. You have to always have that filter on that radar, because every single piece of information, everything you see in the mainstream, basically everything is propaganda going in a single direction toward globalism, toward open society, toward, just the narrative, the 1984 narrative. So when I look at the article, you have to look at the words that they're using. What are they saying? How are they framing it? What are the emotions that these combination of words is invoking in me? How do I feel about it? Because we'll have, even if you know something's propaganda, you'll still usually have a visceral reaction to it. You usually will still say, oh my God, that was intense. The left always has to create softer words for things with more syllables, like how shell shock went to battle fatigue, then post traumatic stress. Yes, yes. It creates a barrier, it creates a distance between what it is and what it is not, because they need to have the control of the perception of reality. They can't just let it be what it is. It's shell shock, which was pretty accurate and perfect description of what happened. The person's in shock, their nervous system's in shock, and then they had to progress it to post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, let's make it this more elaborate thing. And that helps them control it, because then once people see the complexity of the words and the labels, they get intimidated. They want to appeal to authorities and feel like, oh, the authority can tell me what this is or what it is not, and they can just control it. Oh, Shane. Yeah, I immigrated to America for a couple of years ago at 8. I have my papers, documents. There are no excuses. Well, there's excuses. I mean, there's excuses when you just don't feel like doing it. Come on. Stop. No, but thank you for doing that. And I'm glad, I'm not saying that all people who enter the country without papers, documentations, that they're bad people. I know plenty of good people who have done that. But the whole blanket condoning it, making it justified, oh, it's just necessary. It's just something we have to do. Oh, we're just regular people. Oh, you need us. Okay. So in the article, they go over this woman. She entered the country. Okay, her parents first of all, she came to Mexico. She came to the U.S. from Mexico in 2008. Her parents had a job. They had a home. They had everything. They had things in Mexico. Okay, they had things in Mexico. They weren't starving on the streets, running from the mob. They weren't like these refugees, I would say. They were just living a normal life. And so first she starts off about giving a story how she was majoring in politics and law, because that's going to be great. We had a lawyer who's not even bothering to get citizenship. But okay, like my peers, I spent my time studying for prerequisite classes and getting, pizza and hanging out. But there's one major difference between me and most other UTSA students. She says, I won't be able to legally work after graduation. Okay. But you have a whole education, like an entire whole education. Like at and at one point is this like symptoms of poverty. But anyway, I came to the US from Mexico in 2008. I had arrived and then so here's the first part of the excuses to basically in this article, they're building a story to support the idea that the laws on immigration, laws on undocumented immigrants, people who illegally enter the country, is those laws are not wrong. They're not based in logic. They're just silly. There's no reason to have them. So she basically says, had I arrived 1 year earlier, I'd qualify for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the DACA program, which gives temporary legal authorization to immigrants who come here as children. Since I missed the cutoff, I don't have a social security number, can't get a driver's license in the state of Texas, and don't have a work permit or legal status. So, how much do you want to bet she still drives, though? Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm just guessing because I don't know how you live there and not drive. Someone who's breaking the law while becoming a lawyer seems about right. Yeah, seems about right. It makes sense. It makes total sense. Oh, minor special. When I was a kid, being told life isn't fair was an important thing to accept. These folks think life should always be fair. Yeah. Okay, Shane. Yeah. She can still go to college, though. She can still benefit from the Texas in-state tuition. She can still benefit from the education system here in America, in Texas. She can still benefit. But, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. So today, increasing numbers of undocumented students are facing these same issues. It's just so many of them. It's normal. There's so many of us. It's just a normal thing. That's basically what she's trying to say. So a federal judge in 2021 ruled against the DACA program, halting all new applicants. That means that more than 100,000 undocumented migrants across the nation are graduating high school without any kind of legal authorization or protection every year, including 17,000 from Texas high schools. Oh, how unfortunate. They're going to school, they're getting an education at a discount rate, they're getting to qualify and benefit from the education in America, but it's just still unfair. It's unfair. And many of them will attend Texas public colleges thanks to a 2001 state law signed by former Republican Governor Rick Perry that extends in-state tuition eligibility to undocumented students. Now, I'm sorry I'm not doing the screen share, but I want to highlight the fact that they put in the article in 2001 the state law signed by former Republican Governor Rick Perry. Now, why did she say Republican in the article? That's very important. She says Republican because she's trying to align and tell other Republican people who identify as Republican, that no, this is okay. This is something good. Republicans can support this. A Republican governor made a state law. Like, see, Republicans align and agree with this. They're always looking for you to sort of just cower down and accept some invisible authority and say, yes, I agree with it. So that is a key thing. Every single word that they use in these articles, in media, every single word that is being used has a purpose. It's not just there just to flower it up. No, it's to push the narrative, to build a story, to justify things, to connect the dots for people, even though it's ridiculous. It should be the opposite. They should be allowed to work, but not allowed to get a free public education. Now, we definitely know that they still work. Her dad has a job. Okay, here we go into the story. I was born in, I can't even pronounce this, Morelos, Mexico, where my dad worked as a mechanic and my mom worked in retail. So they had they had jobs in Mexico. Crime permeated their day-to-day lives. Um so the reason they left Mexico, not because they just couldn't find work or they couldn't find food or any of that, it's because of the crime. It's because their society was full of crime. And so they wanted to go to a society that had less crime and more law and order. So she says the legal options at 4, they wanted to leave when she was 4 years old. They decided to leave the home they love for their safety in mind. So it's just ridiculous. So the legal options for them were limited, requiring much more wealth than they had. Oh no, they had to they had to qualify. Oh no, how dare they? My parents even know about the option of requesting asylum at the border. But that process can take years as well with no guarantees. Oh, how unfortunate. You can't just come to another country randomly when you want to. It's so unfair. So unfair, you guys. Thus, we crossed the Rio Grande near Laredo, Texas. My dad went first, and my mom and I followed a few months later. So they literally crossed the river. And she still has the audacity. She literally committed a crime coming across the river, but she has the audacity to complain that she doesn't get a social security number. How unfair. It's so unfair, isn't it? It's so unfair. So, they still got jobs. They settled in Austin, got new jobs. Dad is a mechanic and a small business owner. He opened a business, okay? He opened a business in the country. And the mom became a house cleaner and a fast food worker. I enrolled in kindergarten and grew up loving school. They couldn't travel back, obviously. Oh, here's another one. Oh, how sad. Because this is all building up. Here's another. My parents couldn't travel back home to see their families. And my dad lost his beloved brother and couldn't attend the funeral in Mexico. Many times I saw my mom denied for jobs and that paid more. So we have to build this sympathy. All through this article, we're building sympathy. We're just so sympathetic. Oh, you committed a crime. You came into a country illegally. You can't just travel the way you want to. Oh, it's so terrible. You know what, you guys? We should just change the laws. We should definitely change the laws. Definitely change the laws. These people are so hardworking. That's the other thing. They're building this narrative. These undocumented immigrants are just so hardworking. They're good people. None of them have problems. None of them have criminal records. It's just, it's just whatever. Why are these people not going to countries like China and South Korea and Saudi Arabia, but still they come here in the US and still call this country racist and awful? These people are despicable. I know. It's disgusting. It's really, really disgusting. Because I'm pretty sure Saudi Arabia or China would have work for them, potentially, you know? It's really crazy. Shane said, with no social security or paying income tax, no credit, no wealth, but could start a business. Yeah. It's just so hard. Life is just so hard for them. Okay. So later on at 12, she got into an organization that helped create a path to go to college. You know, she was the first one to go to college. She was accepted at a top-rated magnet school. Oh, see, these undocumented immigrants, they're all they're just excelling. They're just amazing people. We should instantly change the laws so that all of them can just come. And we shouldn't be upset about it. Because look, this is a profile piece. Look at her life. She obviously represents 99% of undocumented immigrant children, I'm sure. Due to my immigration status, I faced enormous obstacles, far greater than my peers and friends, to achieve my dreams. Bruh, what? Really? So she couldn't get a social security because she didn't have a social security number. She couldn't get some of the loans, work permits, whatever. And she was just devastated, you know. Okay, here's the best part. Here's the best part. Here's the best part. Here we go. Now, this is the killer. This is the paragraph that is just totally summarized what their goal of the article is. And usually it's going to come, this type of thing comes after they build the empathy, after they build the whole narrative to make you really, really feel and acknowledge and just acknowledge it and just want to 100% empathize with this person. Okay. So she wasn't able to get the work. She wasn't able to work. And she explains this is an unfortunate reality for many undocumented young people, and it hurts the U.S. economy. Texas has major gaps in the workforce, especially in healthcare and education. The state suffers from growing skilled labor shortage, with nearly 1 million job openings unfilled as of November 2022. It makes no sense to block young people like her who were educated in the American school system and obtained a college degree from pathways to a career once they graduate. It just doesn't it make sense? Don't you see how it all builds up and it builds together? Just to clearly, nicely, and politely wrap it up and articulate, oh, here's your conclusion. Here's what you think. It just all of the wealth of supporting information, all the dialogue, all the storyline, it just doesn't make sense that this woman can't work. And we have these archaic laws that won't allow her to work. So this is key and critical and very, very clear, obvious propaganda. Okay? This is supporting what their objective is. We just need the undocumented, helpless people fleeing from getting robbed at gunpoint or whatever happened to her mom. Fleeing. She didn't go to nursing school, so hospitals are irrelevant. But it makes it feel more. I mean, she could be an educator. She could work in a hospital. Stop. Don't we know? I mean, the hospitals, like, we need health care. How are we going to get the health care? This is the part that summarizes it. And, you know, they couldn't put this at the top of the article. They couldn't just, like, make the article and say, oh, it's not fair that I can't get a job now that I've been educated and gotten an education and we came here without any of the due process. It's not fair that I can't do it. No, they can't put it at the top. They have to make you feel a certain type of way. They have to get you in a state of mind. You have to empathize with her. You have to see her vivid character. Her parents are so hardworking and she's so hardworking and brilliant and talented. Why would we ever have laws where we would restrict someone as amazing as her from being able to just be a citizen and just do everything that she wants to do here? Why? It doesn't make sense now, does it? Doesn't. Come on, stop being a bigot. Life is not fair. Failure is part of learning. We are all born into our lives and have no say how we grow up, where we grow up, but we still have the ability to change the outcomes. People forget this. Yeah, but she's not wanting to just change the outcome for her. This article is to change the outcome so that we have an open society. So there's no nation, there's no borders. There's no allegiance, there's no principles. It's all globalism. It's all whatever the United Nations says. It's whatever the top bureaucrats, wherever they are in Switzerland or wherever they live, say. That's all it is. It's not about freedom. It's not about people deciding how they want to live their life. It's not about freedom of association and states' rights. It's about all of those globalist things. So they have to create these articles to support that. Yeah, open society for sure. So it's just really interesting to see, and we have to analyze things this way. And then she says, we'd happily get in line for citizenship or documentation if such a line existed. There's no way to do it. Even if one of us started a multi-million-dollar company and created jobs for hundreds of Americans, we still wouldn't have a direct pathway to citizenship. Yeah. Great. This is a great article. It's a great piece of propaganda. It really illustrates, why we just need an open society. I don't know what's wrong with you all. Just build an open society. Get rid of the borders. I mean, all of the people coming here would obviously be just like her, right? So that's how they do it. They build a nice little story. Throw it away. I'm being sarcastic. I don't support open society. I think it's a bad idea. So yeah, that's how they go through it. And I just think it's really interesting to see how they can wrap it all up in a nice little story. But it's sad. I mean, and anyone who's not looking at through the lens of, oh, this is a propaganda piece, this is trying to support open society, trying to support getting rid of immigration laws, all those things, they wouldn't really see it. They would just empathize with her because she seems like a nice person. She seems like very hardworking. Just, they would empathize with her and they would go along with it. It would help them. And then they would read another piece and another piece and another piece similar to this one. And so it would just seem like it makes sense. Open borders did work out well for the Romans. Yeah. It worked out so well. It worked out so well. I know what's wrong with us. Open society and open borders and clown madness world. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. They're always appealing to emotions to get their ideas instated. Yeah. Because it doesn't make logical sense. It just doesn't. It doesn't make logical sense. So they have to create this narrative. They have to create this story. I mean, this could be fiction. Who knows? Who cares? But the point is that people are going to read it. It's going to piggyback off of other articles that explain why we need to justify having an open society, no immigration laws, nothing, just whatever, just let people in, stop being a bigot, that type of thing. More and more. Like there's a CNN article that I was just looking at explaining how America needs immigrants to solve the labor shortage. This one was written in December of 2022. So it just piggybacks off of each other. Manipulation 101. Yes, exactly. So there you go. And this is just, I mean, we really have to help people understand how this stuff works, because you go through life just reading stories, absorbing these things. They make sense because it's in the context of a story. And then you just adopt the attitude and belief, and then you vote that way, and then, the legislation passes and you don't feel any type of way. You just go along with it and just, yeah. Emotional manipulation and fear is their tool. Yeah. Emotional control. I know. Yeah. Because if you use emotional manipulation, then you can bypass logic. So, no, Americans need to have more babies to solve the problem. Well, that's going to be pretty hard considering the fact that people are not doing too well. Let's just leave it at that. The rest of that conversation can happen at locals. That's for sure. I don't think YouTube would support that sort of narrative going down. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope seeing that how these pieces are put together and strategically like sprinkled through, your everyday life, and it just oh, it makes sense. Oh, we need more immigrants because we have a job shortage and we have all these people who are educated, and these laws are just arbitrary and they're not fair and blah, 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 whatever. It's just like, no. They only want them because they want open society. That's why. It's not that difficult. It's like not that hard to conceptualize, but okay, whatever. Yeah, so don't, oh yeah, Lenny said, don't you want this person to live their best life? I know, don't you? Oh, of course. Yeah, so I want you guys to go ahead and you can follow me on Locals. I'm going to put it in the description, but that's definitely where you should follow me because that's where I publish a lot of my actual ideas. So it's just getting started, so you'll be early on. And also, I started the memberships on the channel, so you can join as a member, support the channel, support me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to be doing like private lives and different discussions, making content, planning things out. So building community, because I think it's hard to find people who really think this way, who really analyze things at this level. So I think there's definitely space for that type of community online. Oh, Alexander writes, what's your view on multicultural societies? Do they work, or are they problematic if migrants assimilate into society, or are they harmful for the long run? I'm not sure myself. So I think in terms of a multicultural society, I think it could work as long as people are evolved enough to understand and come together with like shared principles. Obviously we all benefit from different perspectives, different cultures. That's just, I mean, look at America. It's a melting pot. But up until, I don't know, what, 20 years ago, I guess, 30, it was more about they still conformed to like the principles of America and they really supported the ideas. But now you have a culture that actively looks to denigrate and dismiss all of those principles around being self-sufficient and freedom and admiring the freedoms you have in America. So that's the downside. But obviously, there needs to be a balance. Oh, nice, Shane. Thanks. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Love the support. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Alexander. More people need to wake up and fight back. No thanks. I know this crap is bad, but it's like people, like for me, like my dad's an immigrant. I mean, he didn't teach me much about the value of America, that's for sure. But I think people can come together and start to understand these things and benefit. So yeah. All right. So I really appreciate you guys joining the live and all the likes and the new channel members and everything, all the new follows, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for sticking around. It was a little bumpy at the start, but I really appreciate sticking around. So I think that I'll be doing lives Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm pretty sure. I'll put it up on the YouTube. I'll put it some notification like schedule them. But Friday I'm gonna go live with Maria, who was in the chat earlier, and we're gonna discuss some like pretty interesting topics. So I'll post the flyer for that or schedule that pretty soon. So yeah, have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later. Stay vigilant. Don't fall for the propaganda. Okay, good night.